Good morning, people. I'm here in the Yucatan Peninsula where a civilization known as the Mayans live. The homeland of the Maya includes southern Mexico all the way to northern Central America. This group here is very interesting. They even built amazing cities such as Tikal. No surprise that such a beautiful structure came from the Maya, for they are known to have built giant pyramids, temples, palaces, and even some elaborate stone carvings dedicated to their gods. Cities here in this civilization exchanged flint, feathers, honey, shells, and at one point, even cacao was used as a form of currency. The Mayans are a very smart group. They even came up with their own calendar. Well, half of it. The person writing it died halfway through. I'm here with the famous author who wrote the Popol Vuh. What is it exactly?
Here I'm writing about how I think the world was created.
Okay, thank you. Back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Santi. In other news today, we will be talking about the religious and solar calendars of the Mayans.
The religious calendar consists of 260 days in a year with 13 20-day months.
Wow, they're so different. The social calendar has 365 and a fourth days in a year with 18 20-day months, with a separate period of 5 days at the end.
But then they were merged together so that any given day could be identified in both cycles.
They used it so that they could be able to identify the best time to grow crops, attack enemies, and crown new rulers.
The Mayans based their calendars off the planet, sun, and moon.
Even though it was made almost 3,000 years ago, the calendar is still reliable and used today.
And now for a commercial break.
Wow, what's that wonderful smell?
Oh hey, is it just me, or can you never get enough chocolate either?
I know what you mean.
Well, now with these magical sweet beans, you can have chocolate whenever you want because chocolate's made of cacao beans, and cacao beans are these, and if you get these, you get chocolate.
Wow, tell me more.
Well, for just 2 feathers and a shell, these sweet beans will be yours.
How many do I get per package?
You get a dozen of them, but on Tuesdays, there's a deal, so you get a baker's dozen.
What's a baker's dozen?
It's 12 plus 1, so 13.
Wow, I can't wait.
Yeah, order now, and you get 2 dozen beans for the same price of 1.
Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the Incan civilization. The Incan civilization originated on the high plateaus of the Andes Mountains, then later migrated and settled to the valley of Cusco. It grew slowly until 1438, when Pachacuti became leader. He took control of Peru and much of South America by 1500. The land had 80 provinces and approximately 16 million people. They took over the land with military and diplomatic measures. The language of the Incan civilization was Quechua. They had schools that taught Incan ways from a young age, and the Incan central government was bureaucracy. The government led to wealthy and great empire that lasted for years. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Garrett. In relevance to Santi's report, the Mayan civilization was far more advanced than the Incas and the Aztecs, in my opinion. Religion helped shape their society by beliefs in several gods that control nature. Because of the gods, the Mayans felt inspired to create a calendar in which they thought could determine the gods' behaviors. These calendars were created by a god laying down a burden, and then someone would pick it up to determine which god was in charge of the day. The Mayan astronomers were able to obtain such great precision by using a math system that included the concept of zero. The Mayans used a shell symbol for 0, dots for the numbers 1 through 4, and a bar for the number 5. They used a numerical system primarily for the calendar and for the astronomical work. Because of the math and precision, the Mayan calendar concept is still used today. The calendar had dates up until the 21st of December in 2012. Most people assumed this was the end of the world since there was no written dates after that. This has been my thoughts about the Mayan technology and advancement. Now on to Sophia with the Aztec civilization.
Thank you, Paola. So the Aztecs were poor nomadic people from the deserts of northern Mexico. They arrived around 1200 AD and were originally called the Mexicas. Their empire was located in the Valley of Mexico, which had several shallow lakes at its center, accessible resources, and fertile soil. They founded their city on a small island in 1325 and named it Tenochtitlan. This place became known as modern-day Mexico. Aztec homes ranged from the elaborate homes of the wealthy to the homes of the poor. Common Aztec homes were made of adobe, which is sun-dried brick made from adobe clay. Aztec nobles had homes made of better materials such as lime or stone. Members of these tribes were farmers. They farmed corn, beans, squash, and other vegetables. They also made chocolate, and their religion was important in Aztec society. It is said that they worshipped more than 1,000 gods. The most important ritual involved their sun god. According to Aztec belief, he made the sun rise every day. When the sun set, he had to battle the forces of evil to get to the next day. To make sure that he was strong enough for this ordeal, he needed the nourishment of human blood. Without regular offerings of human blood, he would be too weak to fight. The sun would not rise, and the world would be plunged into darkness, and all life would be perished. For this reason, Aztec priests practiced human sacrifice on a massive scale. Each year, thousands of victims were led to the altar atop the greatest temple, where priests carved out their hearts using knives and many other sources that they had. Sacrificial victims included enslaved people, criminals, and people offered as tribute. I guess you could say their god wanted their hearts, literally.